Hello, boys and girls. This lesson is number 5. This is lesson number 5, which is a review lesson for lower elementary. So, how is everybody doing? I'm doing better. I'm feeling better about the way the world is. How about you? Are you more comfortable now, maybe, going outside, being around people? I am. I know we're not done with our obligation of staying away from people, so that's why you guys are not here and I'm not hanging out with you, which is still not any fun, but at least we can do some of the things that we used to do, like we can go to restaurants and things like that. Now, as a matter of fact, my gym is open again, but I haven't been back, and the reason I haven't been back is my tummy's been upset for 2 days, and I had a sinus infection, so that means I'm sneezing, and even though sneezing isn't part of COVID-19, I don't want to go into a place and be sneezing because they're going to think there may be something wrong with me, so I'm still staying away from my gym. I'm looking forward to that too. But anyway, there's a big new bright spot in my life, and I want to share him with you. Are you ready for this? Wait till you see this. Are you ready? I already showed him to the kindergartners and the preschoolers, so I'm going to show him to you. Hey, Doe! Hey, Doe! Come here, baby. Come here, Doe. Here he comes. He was sitting on the edge of the stage. Wait till you see this guy. Wait till you see this guy. Come here, baby. Come here, pup. Yeah. Come here, baby. Come get on camera. All right. All right. How are you? How's a puppy? This guy's name is Doe, which is short for Doberman, and that's his name. And I didn't name him, but I did. He was a gift. Somebody that I like, some very nice person, very good friend of mine, gave me this dog. And that's an amazing gift, right? This guy, Doe, can you look at the camera? Turn that big body around, baby. Let's see if we can turn it. You know how dogs only do what they want to do, right? Can you sit? Will you sit? Attaboy. Oh, sit. Do it. Sit. Oh, man, he normally does. Hey, sit. Attaboy, attaboy, attaboy. Shake. Yep, shake. Yep, shake. Will you shake? Shake? Okay, let me help him. Shake, shake. All right, there you go. How about this? Relax. Good boy, good boy, good boy. Good boy. I don't know if you can see, but he went down on the ground. So anyway, this guy is a brown Doberman. He's 9 months old, and I love him, and he sort of loves me, although we've only really known each other about 10, 12 days, I guess maybe 14 days at the most. I've lost track. But anyway, he eats a whole lot less than Lucky did. And he's a puppy, but he's not a crazy running around the house puppy too much. But he does have a bad habit of destroying his toys and pillows that belong to me. So like, okay, so now he's laying down. I wish you could see him because he's really awesome. But he'll go into the bedroom and he'll get a pillow, a nice pillow or something, and he'll drag it out on his porch, and then he'll just annihilate it. He'll destroy it. And so he's got a couple bad habits like that, but anyway, he's my new companion. So I'm very happy about having him. Okay, so boys and girls, what's on the board is the important stuff. If you can learn and review what's on the board, you're good for the whole semester. And I know this has been a very weird semester for us because we haven't been able to do songs. Songs are the biggest part of our music curriculum usually. But because we can't do that right now, I've been giving you music theory, and I know it's not, the phrase that people use is it's not your cup of tea. That just means it's not your favorite thing to do. But trust me when I say it's very, very important, especially if you want to study more music later on, if you want to take piano or any type of musical instrument, you need to know this stuff. So what do you say, with Doe laying right here on the ground, what do you say we go through everything on the board and I'll tell you what's important and what you need to know? Deal? Okay, don't forget you can always rewind this video and you can go back and watch the other videos because I'm not going to take them down. All right, so this is a review lesson. The first thing to review is that every single note in music, every single note in music has four names. And I want you to know this. Every single note in music has four names. Music notes can be called by their alphabet letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And you've heard me talk about sharps and flats. So that means that A, B, C, D, E, F, G could be called A sharp, B sharp, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, or A flat, B flat, C flat, D flat, E flat, F flat, G flat. So every single note can be called by a letter name. That's number one. Every single note can be called by a number name. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've demonstrated this for you before. I don't want to, he's just laying right here in the middle of the room. He does that a lot. He sleeps a lot. Hopefully you can see me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me see if I can turn it this way without getting on him. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. The reason I'm saying sev is it's easier for me to say it in one syllable than it is to say 7, because that's the only number that has two syllables, up to number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And I'm not calling that one 8, I'm calling it 1, because 1 and 8 are the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Okay? So far we know that every note can be described by a letter and a number. Every note can also be described by a French syllable that you may have heard at some time in your life if you've ever watched The Sound of Music, or if you've just ever heard anybody say do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. If you've ever heard that before, you've heard the French syllables. It so happens that they look a lot like the Italian words too, so they could be Italian syllables, but I learned them as French syllables. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Hey, I wonder if you can sing those with me. If you know them, great. If you don't, you can look them up on the internet, or you can just watch this video over and over and see if you can learn it. Do, do. And actually, I don't think the original owner was thinking about the dog being named Do, which is a musical syllable. I don't think. I mean, that's kind of cool. Maybe I could just think of it that way. Okay, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I want you to learn those syllables. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You know what? I'm going to write those down for you because they are very important. Do. It's okay, go. Stay right there. There's do. Do. Re. Re. Mi. Fa. Sol. But everybody says so, because French syllable, you only pronounce the L under certain circumstances. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now, when your mom and dad were little, there was a movie they probably saw called The Sound of Music. And in The Sound of Music, the main character, who is this sort of unbelievably able person. In other words, we as the ones viewing this show are meant to believe that this particular person, this central character, can do just about anything, you know? She's almost magical, right? And she's like a nanny or a teacher for a family that happens to be exceptionally well off. They're very rich, and I think they're in Germany or Austria. Anyway, off the top of her head, we're meant to believe that she comes up with a song that goes, Doe, a deer, a female deer, Ray, a drop of golden sun, me, a name I call myself, Fa, a long, long way to run, So, a needle pulling thread, La, a note to follow, So, Tea, a drink with jam and bread, that will bring us back to dough. Okay? Tea, a drink with jam and bread, right? You can tell it's European, right? We don't drink much tea over here unless it's sweet tea, right? Doe, a deer, a female deer. Ray, a drop of golden sun. Me, a name I call myself. Fa, a long, long way to run. Let me explain that. British people and Europeans in general, they try to avoid terminal R's on the end of their words. So they'll say, fa, look how far it is over to the car, right? They're not going to say like Americans, look how far it is over there to that car, right? They don't care so much for the R's at the end of words, so they leave them out. Would you put the car over in the yard several far paces from where we are right now? I don't know. Okay, something like that. So that's why fa is a long, long way to run. So, a needle pulling thread. Do you get it? So, a needle pulling thread. La, this one's just kind of dumb. La, a note to follow so. In other words, they didn't know what to say on la, I guess. And then tea, a drink with jam and bread that will bring us back to doe. Doe, a deer, a female deer, or also a male dog. Ray, a drop of golden sun. I wish you could see him. He's still just laying here like a prince. Me, a name I call myself. Fa, a long, long way to run. So, a needle pulling thread. La, a note to follow. So, tea, a drink with jam and bread that will bring us back to dough. Something like that. I think I have the ending wrong. But anyway, if you want to go to YouTube Kids, put in Sound of Music, and then you'll see that one of the choices is Do, Re, Mi. And it's going to be a little goofy, a little silly. It may make you feel kind of funny to watch it because it's just so out of date. And, but it's neat. It's neat to see a movie from 50 years ago that your grandmother and your mom and your dad and your grandpa, everybody before you and your family saw that movie. I can almost guarantee it. And so it's kind of neat to see those because you may find it hard to believe, but it's true that some families did look that way, Some families did look that way, and some families maybe even lived that way, although that's really hard for us to imagine. The daddy of the house was a baron, I think, which is like a German prince, maybe. Anyway, Austrian prince. Anyway, they lived on a giant farm that you would call an estate, I think, and it had a big house, not a castle, but it was certainly, I guess, a mansion. Not unlike some of the houses in Greystone, really. We don't have mansions in Mount Laurel, not really, but they do in Greystone, and there's some very big places there. But anyway, so you may want to look in the Sound of Music. The reason why I say that is that gives us our French syllables, also known as Italian syllables. So that's 3 ways, and then the 4th way to name every single note I told you in lesson number 2, and that was the hard way where you had to remember the big words: tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediant, leading tone, tonic. Tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediant, leading tone, tonic. Now those are the theoretical names. Those are really important if music is your thing. If you're good at music, like Jackman, I know he's in the upper L. Or if you're good at music like Iad, or if you're good at music like Elise, or if you're good at music like, do you remember, who was that little kid that came and left? Played the cello. Anyway, if you're good at music and you want to make music one of your things that you do in life, like I kind of made it one of my things I do in life, then I want you to know tonic, supertonic, median, subdominant, dominant, submedian, leading tone, tonic. So those are the 4 ways you can name a note. Okay, so that takes care of number 1 over there, but if you don't want to move on yet, you can stop the video and just take a look at that on pause, okay? Okay, now I'm going to tell you about the grand staff. Grand staff, I think, was in lesson 1. I think it was. I think I did the grand staff lesson up in the library. Here's our grand staff, and the thing you need to be able to do with the grand staff is name all the 5 lines and the 4 spaces of the bass clef, and name the 5 lines and the 4 spaces of the treble clef. Also, if you're in 3rd grade, I expect you to know the ledger lines too. So let's review that very quickly. I'll start with the ledger lines. Do you remember Snoopy the flying ace? Snoopy the flying ace always crashed. He always went down. So A, C, E. There's my 3 ledger lines. A, C, E spells ace when you're going down. We need a treble clef. These are easy to draw once you get used to them. You draw a lazy S, really lazy, right? Then you come up to the top, bring the S line down, cross the 3rd line, come down to the bottom line and spin. Put a dot down here at the bottom, that's a treble clef. To build a bass clef, you go to the 4th line, 1, 2, 3, 4, draw a knob, a circle, a blob, and then make a big backward C that ends like that. And you need 2 dots on the F line. That's a bass clef. Treble clef, bass clef. We have 5 lines in the treble, 5 lines in the bass clef. Both of them have mnemonic devices. That's a special way to help you remember a mnemonic device. They both have them. The treble clef has every good boy does fine and F-A-C-E. Every good boy does fine and F-A-C-E. Every good boy does fine and F-A-C-E. These are the line notes. These are the space notes. If it's a line, it rhymes with fine, so it's every good boy does fine. If it's a space, it rhymes with face, so F-A-C-E. So here's our every good boy does fine, F-A-C-E. Remember, when you're naming the notes, you have to go from the bottom up. If you try to go from the top down, you're messed up. You're missing them all except for the B, the one in the middle. Because the thing in the middle is correct either way. That's just the nature of being in the middle. It's correct either way, but you're going to miss all of the other ones if you go the wrong direction. Remember, Snoopy goes down. That's only for the ledger lines. That's only for the ledger lines. Snoopy goes down, A-C-E. All of the other mnemonic devices go up. All right? In the bass clef, all cows eat grass. Now, it's easy for me to make. I've got a couple ways to remind you. We've got Grandpa G. If you'll remember Grandpa G, he's at the very, very bottom. There's Grandpa G. That gives us G, so we know G, and we can figure out all the rest of the notes from G using the musical alphabet. But there's an easier way to do that, and that's just to remember that good boys do fine always. Good boys do fine always. We get good from Grandpa G. Grandpa G, good. That reminds us that it's good. It's not every. It's good at the bottom. Treble clef is every. Bass clef is good, or Grandpa G. Grandpa G. All right? Good boys do, hey BB, fine, always. He was a bad boy today. He ate a good pillow. He likes pillows in a kind of an unusual way. I think that's something his last family did. I think his last family put a big blanket on the floor, which is something I did too, because they told me to do that. And then he'll go around the house and he'll harvest pillows. Do you know what I mean by that? He'll be, oh, that's a nice pillow. Grabs it with his mouth and he takes it into his blanket. And then when he sits on top of the pillows like a prince or something, right? Or he lays down and his head is on the pillow. I'm not making that up. I have pictures of it. He really lays down with his head on the pillow. Anyway, he also tends to eat his pillows. So the one that he ate today was I was sad about it because it was a particularly good pillow. And anyway, threw it in the trash. I don't know how to punish him because I don't want to, I'm not going to smack him. So what I do is I just look at him and I'm in my I'm disappointed look. This is my, you want to see it? This is my I'm disappointed look. I'm just like, and then his ears kind of sag down. And he gets sad in the face, but I don't think he remembers it for a long time. Do you? You don't remember it for too long, do you? No. Okay, so here's our bass clef. We need to do the spaces of the bass clef. All cows eat grass. All cows eat grass. Okay, so boys and girls, that was tough, especially if you're in first grade. So just remember, first graders, and actually everybody, stop and do this for me. Give me the 5 lines of the bass. Here's the 5 lines of the bass, 5 lines of the treble. I just want to remind you a few things. Where's Grandpa G? Where's Grandpa G? Right there. Is that what you said? Grandpa G. Okay? There's Grandpa G. All right? Snoopy, the Snoopy notes go in between. A, C, E. So the Snoopy notes are in between. When you look at the right hand by itself, every good boy does fine, and F, A, C, E. That's the right hand. Every good boy does fine. Line rhymes with fine. F, A, C, E. Face rhymes with space. So that takes care of everything in the treble clef. Every good boy does fine, and F, A, C, E. That's the whole treble clef. Now let's look at the bass clef. We know we have Grandpa G, and if we want to take the time, we can go like this. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. But see, that takes too long when you're reading music in a real application. In other words, when you're really trying to read music, you don't have time to go G, A, B, C. You have to be able to look at it, and the best way to look at it and remember is to say, good boys do fine always, and all cows eat grass. Good boys do fine always, all cows eat grass. Treble clef, every good boy does fine, F-A-C-E. Bass clef, Grandpa G, good boys do fine always, all cows eat grass. And some dogs eat grass, because this guy likes to stop and eat grass when we're walking. I think it means he's hungry, but I don't know why he's hungry, because he certainly isn't lacking for food around my place. Okay, bass clef starts with Grandpa G. Good boys do fine always, all cows eat grass. Treble clef starts with every good boy does fine, F-A-C-E. If you'll learn that, you will know more than any other first, second, or third graders anywhere. Except like advanced piano players, right? Those guys know that stuff, but normal folks don't. So if you'll learn that, you'll know a lot more. Okay? All right, so there's that. Moving on, we're on number 3. I wonder what time it is. Maybe I should check. Number 3 is intervals. Interval is the distance between 2 notes. And I need to move this back over here by Doey. Doey's stretching a little bit. All right, intervals. Do you remember our interval song? Oh, sorry, baby, don't chew that. Major 2nd, major 3rd, perfect 4th, perfect 5th, major 6th, major 7th, octave. minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, octave. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, octave. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, octave. What's up, Joey? What's up, Joey? What do you want, baby? You okay? Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, octave. Watch this. Oh yeah. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, octave. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, octave. He wants to eat it. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, octave. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, octave. Okay, these are right here. C to C is a prime. C to D, major second. C to E, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, perfect octave. Okay, he's going to stretch his legs. Nobody else is in the gym. That's the only reason this is safe right now. If anybody else came in, they'd probably be scared of Doe. He's kind of a scary type of dog. That guy has a big heart and he's very sweet, but he can be scary. Anyway, okay, so those are the intervals going up. Here are the intervals going down. C to B, minor second. C to A, minor third. Come on in, baby. C to G, perfect fourth. C to F, perfect fifth. C to E, major sixth. C to D, major seventh. And C to C prime, perfect eight. So let's do our interval song together. If you want to read along with me, you can go this way. It starts with major second, and then it goes to major seventh. So let me help you figure your way out there. So it goes here, and then it goes to this one. So it starts here, and then it goes to there. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, octave. Oops, I'm sorry. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, octave. Okay, so here's really how we go. Here's how we go. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, octave. 3, 4. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, octave. And you may be asking yourself, but why in the world would I want to know anything like that? Well, I'll tell you why. Oops. Now, in that simple song, which most of you know is the Star Wars theme, I figured that out using my ear only. And here's how. The first interval, okay, there's my interval. Now, if I didn't have this keyboard in front of me, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, bum, bum, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth. There it is. Now there's our major 7. Actually, it's a minor 7, isn't it? Perfect 5th, minor 7th, perfect 4th, minor 7th, perfect 4th, minor 3rd. I don't know if I just proved my case or not. I might have just confused you more. A musician can use intervals to figure out a song that she wants to play. And say, for instance, you've only ever heard the song and you don't have the music, but you want to go to your piano and be able to play it. So have to use intervals to figure it out. Bum, ba, 1. You could also go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bum, bum, 1, 5. 4, 3, 2, 1, 5. 4, 3, 2, 1, 5. Hey, Doe, come here, baby. 4, 3, 4, 2. So I just used numbers to sing a melody, and it helped me to really learn that melody and be able to, hey, Dodo, come here, baby. He's walking out to the gym floor. Okay, there's only one other thing I want to review with you, and then Doe and I are going to go home. It's probably close. Hey, baby, come here. Come here, pup. It's probably time for us to take a walk. So here's what the hard stuff that I want you to remember. I'm going to show it to you again. What's wrong, baby? Come here, pup. Come here, pup. What's wrong? What's wrong? Hey, pup, pup. All right. Say hello one more time. Say hello one more time. All right, can you see him? He's such a beauty. So Dobermans don't just come in black. I guess Dobermans, or do you say Doberman? Dobermans. Anyway, they don't just come in black, they come in brown. And this guy is a characteristic. He's a good representation of a Doberman because he's pure-blooded. However, the last owner, a man named Mr. Jeremy Young, he's moving to the town of Mount Laurel. He bought my dad's house. That's a long story. But anyway, Mr. Jeremy Young gave me this dog as a sort of a friendship gift, an appreciation gift. And it probably had something to do with his wife is going to have a third baby. And she has a big tummy right now. And the baby is going to come in July. And they probably don't have room for another dog, something like that. So this doggy came to live with me, and it makes me very, very happy that that happened, because you may know the story about Lucky, how I had to give Lucky away, and that was tough. Okay, so let's do this final review, and then Doe and I will go home. Hey, baby boy, right? He gets eye boogers a lot, you know. He gets snot in his eyes that needs to be cleaned out. Okay, so here's our music history chart. If you're in 1st through 3rd grade, I want you to know these names. If you're in 3rd grade, and maybe 2nd also, I think you should know the dates, or at least make sure you know these names in order. But this is how I would ask you. I would ask it this way. Boys and girls, what's the first period of music history? The first period of music history is called Music of the Ancients. And then I would ask, okay, who are the ancients? And you would hopefully say the Greeks and the Romans. And that would be the complete answer for that question. So what's the first period of music history? It's Music of the Ancients. And who were the ancients? They were Greeks and Romans. Greeks and Romans. Then I would say, what's the second period of music history? What's the second period of music history? Well, the answer to that one is the Middle Ages. And the Middle Ages were after the Greeks and Romans, and it went from 600 to about 1400. Is that what I have? Yeah, 600 to 1400. That's a big, big time period. You know what? I want to show you something really quick. I have a book that's only about the Middle Ages. And one of the things that happened in the Middle Ages is advanced architecture. And you know architecture is probably my second favorite thing besides music. Can you see in this picture how advanced their architecture was and how advanced their decorative arts were in the Middle Ages? This is from the Middle Ages. These are plates in a book. This is art and some religious objects from the Middle Ages. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. Full of color, kind of realistic looking, you know, kind of, right? Okay. So after the Middle Ages, we have the Renaissance, the Renaissance, the Renaissance. French word, it means rebirth. And the rebirth of science and math and even technology, although it wasn't the way we think of technology, took place from 1400 to 1600. That's the Renaissance, 1400 to 1600. And I have a book on the Renaissance too, of course. This is my book on the Renaissance.
And the Renaissance art, I have to be careful to find stuff that really represents them. Renaissance art became more elegant, more refined, and more detailed. Renaissance art became more elegant, more defined, and more detailed. And Renaissance architecture really developed. Renaissance architecture became very intricate and involved, and also some established rules from the ancients, that would be the Greeks and Romans, some established rules from those people that came before us also applied to architecture of the Renaissance period. Next in our chart, after the Renaissance, is the Baroque period. And I probably told you that's my favorite period, and that's because I'm an organist. And organs were really awesome in the Baroque period. They were at their best, maybe. So the Baroque period takes us from 1600 till the death of Bach in 1750. It's not a very long period, is it? Not compared to the Middle Ages, and not even compared to music of the ancients. Hold on one second. Hey, Doe, where are you? Doe! I better check on him. Actually, let me just get done with this really quick. I have a book on the Baroque period. Oh, this is medieval. Here's Baroque. The Baroque. What am I going to show you from the Baroque period? Oh, here's something that you can relate to right away. These guys look like the founding fathers of America. Yeah, kind of, sort of. They're dressed like it. Well, guess why? Because when the Baroque period was going on from 1600 to 1750, America was getting settled. America was getting settled in those same years. So in the Baroque period, people looked like Martha Washington, you know? And lots of kings and queens rose to high prominence in the Baroque period. The one that pops into my mind is George III. He's the King of England that we tried to get away from with the American Revolution. And then, of course, Louis XIV. Everybody's heard of Louis XIV in France, same time period. Let me see if I can find a building from the Baroque period. Buildings in the Baroque period were tremendously decorated. Buildings in the Baroque period were just lavish. A good word for that is lavish. That means full of detail and expensive creations, right? So, that's the Baroque period. Where did I put my, here we go. After the Baroque period, we have the Classic period. In America, we call that the Enlightenment. America and Europe too. And it's from 1750 to 1827 when Beethoven died. After the Classic period, we have the shortest period. The shortest period is the Romantic period. It's from 1827 to 1900. That was a period characterized by freedom and a return to the nature, the ideals of nature. So instead of man having a superimposed order, man sort of just relaxed and began to take in creation as it was outside. Okay, that's also the time of the American Civil War. And then finally, that takes us to the 20th century. So boys and girls, I'm sorry, I'm going to cough. Boys and girls, these things are very important to know. So let's review the 7 periods of music history, and then we'll be done with this whole review lesson, all right? So the 7 periods of music history, they start with music of the ancients. The second period is the Renaissance. That's the big, rewind, I said it wrong. Let's start over. The first period is music of the ancients. The second period, it's not Renaissance. Middle Ages, right. So music of the ancients, Middle Ages. What's the third period? Renaissance, right? Okay, the third period is Renaissance. Anybody remember the fourth period? There's a phrase that we use. It says, if it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. You get it? If it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. Anyway, Baroque. Not the same word, obviously. Baroque is not the same as B-R-O-K-E, but that's kind of like a joke for musicians. I know, it's not very funny, but anyway, that's a joke that's out there. If it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. I don't know, maybe that'll help you remember the Baroque period. So music of the ancients, Middle Ages, Renaissance, Baroque. What's the next period? Classic, right, the period of Mozart and Beethoven. After classic, Beethoven dies and we get the Romantic period, when they sort of no longer cared about form in music anymore, and they started being very carefree and sort of wild, and cities like London became huge. Cities like New York became huge metropolises in the Romantic period. We also had the beginnings of the Industrial Revolution happening in the Romantic period too. That helped to speed everything up too. We also had the very first recordings of music made in the Romantic period. I hear my dog doing something funny. And then after that is the 20th century. The 20th century is the 7th period. Let's say them one more time together and then we'll be done. Are you ready? First period, music of the ancients. Second period, medieval or Middle Ages or, right, Middle Ages. Good. Third period, Renaissance. Fourth period, Baroque. If it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. Fifth period, Classic. Sixth period, Romantic. Seventh period, 20th century. Okay, boys and girls, I'm going to say goodbye for now. I hope this lesson wasn't too bad, wasn't too hard for you. Good luck learning the material. I'll see you next week. Hey, I got to tell you this. I am going motorcycle camping this weekend. It's my first motorcycle camping trip. What, you may ask, is motorcycle camping? Well, you get on your motorcycle with your buddies and you hit the road, and in our case we're going to be riding for about 5 hours. We're going to ride up into North Alabama and then over into Georgia just for a little while, and then up out of Georgia into Tennessee and South Carolina. And so it's going to take us 5 hours to do that, and then we have tents on our motorcycles, little packages that grow into great big tents. And we're going to put tents up for Friday night, Saturday night, and stay in those tents while we ride around our motorcycles during the day, and come back. So it's me and 2 other guys, a guy named Todd and a guy named Chris, and I've known these guys for a long time. They don't live in Mount Laurel. Their families live in, one of the guys lives on Valladale Road and one lives in Eagle Point. Mr. Todd and Mr. Chris. So anyway, these are my kind of grown-up best friends. Anyway, we're going to have a camping trip, so I'm very, very excited. So anyway, think about me, think about the new dog Doe, say hello to us if you see us in Mount Laurel, and I'll be thinking about you. Try your best to learn this stuff, okay guys? I hope to see you soon. Bye.